Donald's hostile takeovers of Democratic cities continues to escalate. Chicago and Portland are the latest cities in the crosshairs. At her press conference today, Levitt answered many questions about this topic, and she tried to spin the unwanted military presence in these cities as a safety issue. Let's take a look at what she had to say about long term plans to keep troops in Democratic cities.
Courts allow you to ultimately send in the National Guard into Chicago and Portland. Do Democrats not have reason to be concerned that there are long-term plans by this administration to keep U.S. military or the National Guard in American cities, like what we're seeing here in Washington?
Why should they be concerned about the federal government offering help to make their cities a safer place? They should be concerned about this. They should be concerned about the fact that people in their cities right now are being gunned down every single night. And the president, all he's trying to do is fix it.
Okay. As far as I can tell, the only people being hurt right now are being hurt by the unconstitutionally deployed military in these cities. This is a solution in search of a problem. Donald wanted a pretext for sending National Guardsmen into Democratic cities. So he does it without the need for it, over the objection of the city's mayors and the state's governors. And then the people he's deployed create an environment in which it is almost certain violence will break out, and that will be the justification. This is dangerous. It is an abuse of power, and it is a very intentional incursion into state sovereignty. This, again, is how none of this is supposed to work. And yet, who's going to stop him? So Levitt's explanation for these takeovers is that they are making cities safer, or that Donald cares so much about people in New York and Chicago and Portland and whatever city he has on his list, that he wants to do everything in his power to make their lives better. So in response to her failed reasoning, a reporter posed a very good question. If the question was asked, DC is as completely safe as Donald claims, why is our military still there? Take a look at her response.
And the National Guard is still here because the president and the mayor agree that it's a good thing for the city. Just like you're seeing in Memphis, for instance. We'll have National Guard deployed to Memphis. We have federal agents who are on the ground working with state and local law enforcement. The state police in Tennessee are part of this effort. The local metropolitan police in Memphis are part of this effort. State and local law enforcement and federal law enforcement should be working together. And it's a shame that we see in some cities across the country that their mayors are just simply refusing to cooperate because they don't like Donald Trump. And that's what this boils down to. And I don't think any American would disagree that Chicago needs more law enforcement reinforcements, that they need more resources. Look at this headline from over the weekend. At least 30 people shot during the weekend in Democrat-run Chicago. 5 of them were killed in one weekend. This is completely unacceptable, and the president wants to make American cities safer, and he's willing to work with anyone to do it.
Yeah, we can't stand him, but I'm pretty sure that's not the reason. It's that this is wrong. Cities like Chicago, like New York, they have their own law enforcement agencies. And to say that, well, we've solved crime now because of National Guard deployments, but we can't ever leave. It's infantilizing, obviously, but that's also known as a police state. And that's not what the National Guard is for. It's not what our military is for. I have another question for Ava Brown. How many people died over the weekend because Donald has done things like dismantle agencies such as USAID? Answer that question. How much more blood did he get on his hands this weekend? Donald claims that Washington, D.C. asked for this. No. One city who most certainly did not ask for intervention, Portland, Oregon. Yet Donald is still trying everything in his power to deploy federal troops there, despite the fact that the judiciary keeps getting in his way. Here's ABC News with that story.
Overnight, in a tense Oregon hearing, a federal judge blocking President Trump's attempt to deploy members of the California National Guard into Portland, saying she was troubled by the Trump administration's attempt to circumvent an order she'd issued just a day earlier. Trump had already tried to send in Oregon National Guard troops to Portland. That was halted on Saturday. The administration then tried on Sunday to send the troops in from California. Then late last night, Judge Karen Immergit, a Trump appointee, issued a new, broader order prohibiting the administration from using federal control to send any state's National Guard into Oregon, and pressing the government's attorney, saying, quote, "You are an officer of the court. Do you believe that this is an appropriate way to deal with my order, or an order that a judge issues that you disagree with, or is that an appropriate mechanism to appeal as you have done?"
See, sometimes even judges appointed by Donald understand the rule of law and when it's being defied and defiled. Chicago is also not taking Donald's threats lying down. Just this afternoon, Mayor Johnson announced that the city will be enforcing ice-free zones. The mayor is ordering that city property cannot be used as staging grounds for raids by ICE. This includes parking lots next to public schools, libraries, parks, and city buildings. What's been going on has been in Chicago has been nothing short of shocking, even though I know we're not supposed to allow ourselves to be shocked by anything. But it's just another indication of how easy it is for a corrupt administration with a depraved agenda to make incursions if there are literally no guardrails anymore. Because clearly the fascist Republican Party is either too afraid or too intimidated or completely on board with all of this, and they're not going to do anything. And as I said, having the corrupt, illegitimate Supreme Court as a backstop is hardly comforting. Please take a second and like and share this video. It'd be awesome if you could subscribe to the channel. If you're listening to us in podcast form, please follow us and give the show a 5-star rating because it really does help other people find our content. Thanks.